boys and girls, it's time for science story time. Today we're going to be learning about some of the properties of a special liquid glue. But first we're going to read a book by Carle called The Very Busy Spider. This is the same man, you might have read a book he wrote about a very hungry caterpillar. He writes a lot of books about mini beasts. Early one morning, the wind blew a spider across the field. A thin, silky thread trailed from her body. The spider landed on a front post on a farm and began to spin a web. Nay, nay, said the horse. Want to go for a ride? The spider didn't answer. She was very busy spinning her web. Moo, moo, said the cow. Want to eat some grass? The spider didn't answer. She was very busy spinning her web. Ba, ba, bleated the sheep. Want to run in the meadow? The spider didn't answer. She was very busy spinning her web. Ma, ma, said the goat. Want to jump on some rocks? The spider didn't answer. She was very busy spinning her web. Oink, oink, grunted the pig. Want to roll in some mud? The spider didn't answer. She was very busy spinning her web. Woof, woof, barked the dog. Want to chase a cat? Oh no, the poor kitty cat. The spider didn't answer. She was very busy spinning her web. Meow, meow, cried the cat. Want to take a nap? The spider didn't answer. She was very busy spinning her web. Quack, quack, called the duck. Want to go for a swim? The spider didn't answer. She had now finished her web. Cock-a-doodle-doo, said the rooster. Want to catch a pesky fly? And the spider caught the fly in her web, just like that. Who, said the owl. Who built this beautiful web? The spider didn't answer. She had fallen asleep. It had been a very busy day. The end. Now, boys and girls, the second science story time I ever did, I showed you how to do a leaf rubbing. You might want to go back and look at that one again because it was such a long time ago. Your grown-up can help you find it. If you don't want to find it by date, I did it so long ago that I just called it science because I didn't know how many science story times I was going to do, and then I had to start giving them names. Today, we're going to learn about some special properties of glue. If you want to make a shape like a spider web that you can't go out in nature and find and then rub, you can make your own. Now, of course, the spider web is too fragile to rub. And you can sometimes rub a liquid. Now, you couldn't rub most liquids. Like if you took water and put it on a page and you put the paper over it, it would just get wet, right? It's not, it would just soak into the paper. You wouldn't have any kind of ridge up there to rub. But glue is a very special liquid and it has some properties that we can use to make our own rubbing. So I'm gonna have to put this down on the table, boys and girls. See if you can see it. Look very, very carefully. Okay, this is the one I made before. I'm going to show you in a bit. We're just going to put it over there. Now, to make this project, you need liquid glue. This is just Elmer's glue wall or Elmer's school glue. This won't work with a glue stick because it won't be raised enough to make a design you can make a print with. you're going to need a piece of paper. I use black because that made it easier to see my glue design. But if you have black paper, you can use another shade. And you need a crayon. So the first thing you need to do is you need to make the pattern that you're going to rub. So you take your paper and you take your liquid glue and you squeeze it in the pattern you want to make. So I did this at home when I was making my spiderweb pattern. I squeezed it all the way across, and then I wanted a nice big thick pattern to make a good webbing. So I took that and I went over it with my glue, like right next to the line again. So I had a thicker line. And I'm not going to do it on camera, but I did that all the way across and then all the way up and down until I had my web pattern finished. And then now this is very important. If I try to do it right now, what's going to happen? My glue is just going to stick to the paper and I won't be able to make a rubbing. So I took this and I set it aside and I let it dry overnight. This is a big project, so you have to do part of it one day and part of it the next day. And when I did it overnight, when I was done, I had this picture. I don't know if you can see it because glue dries clear, but I promise you I have a bumpy spider web that you can feel right here on this paper. And I'm going to show you what to do after you've let it dry overnight. You put it down on the table. You want to have the bumpy side up, the side facing up that you put the glue on. Then you take a blank piece of paper and you put it right down over where over your glue design. And then you're going to take a crayon. You're going to use the side of the crayon, the edge of the crayon. So at home, if your crayons have paper on them like this does, you want to have a grown-up help you peel all the paper off so you can use the side of the crayon. I didn't want to do this because this was in our craft room and I didn't want to just change it for somebody who might use it. So I'm going to use the edge of the point, but it's much easier if you do it with your own crayons to use one without paper to take the paper off. Then I'm going to kind of hold it in place with my fingers a little bit. And then I'm going to just rub right over my whole glue design. And then can you see that, boys and girls? When I rubbed, the spider web pattern came out, and now you can see all the bumps from my glue making my spider web pattern. Isn't that kind of cool? Now remember to let it dry overnight. Remember to use liquid glue. And now glue has some special properties that will let you do that. A lot of liquids you couldn't do that with. So you're going to, if you want to experiment after you make your regular glue rubbing like I did, maybe your grown-up can help you find some other types of liquid around the house to experiment and see what happens if you make a pattern with those and let it dry overnight. So remember to go back and look for that second video we did, science, so you can know how to do a leaf rubbing with something that already exists. I hope you and your grown-up try this project, and make sure your grown-up hits like and subscribe. See you next time, boys and girls.